Hello to everyone. I hope everyone is staying safe.
Good morning, Greg.
It is morning for those of us on the Pacific, but I think for many it is late in the afternoon or evening.
Well, we can say good present moment.
Good present moment. I like it. Rao, are you ready to give the tech update?
Yeah, I am. I just put the link to the latest tech update in the chat. Let me share my screen. So with the mainnet as it stands right now, there have not been any changes, but we do have a couple of releases. The version 0.10.1 I spoke to last time, a fix that reduces the memory usage substantially. So that and a few other improvements are released or pre-released as 0.10.1. Mainnet is running 0.10.0. So we're getting ready to get this on the testnet and beyond. And I'll show you briefly what is in that release. That's the wrong one. So this is 0.10.1. Maybe I should make this bigger. Okay, so this is 0.10.1. This is the release that was just done a couple of hours ago, as you can see, 3 hours ago. So this has the a few updates to the dependency libraries, and then refactoring of the R space to use key value store, and the improving the node startup time through optimization for in-memory block metadata store. Initialization, there's some continuous integration changes, and then there's a fix to the generation of bonds and wallets file with empty working folder. This again is related to when you're starting up the node locally and you don't have files properly configured or something. It was very confusing in the past, so those things have been fixed. So this is 0.10.1 that should be going almost immediately, probably sometime later today. I guess it's kind of late in Eastern Europe, so if not today, maybe tomorrow, it'll be going on to testnet and beyond. So that's 0.10.1. In addition, we are almost there with the first version of block merge that can go on the testnet. So we're calling this 0.11.0 alpha, and that release has not been done as of this minute, but it should be coming out over the next day or two. At least that's the anticipation at this point in time. And I believe I may have showed this in last time, but let me just show it again as to where you can easily and nicely track what's going on currently, thanks to Tomislav. So we have the core team project and the development team project, and this is the core team project as to what they're working on. So as things come up that they need to look into, they get added to the to-do list, or in some cases, there may be already an existing issue or PR that is part of this to-do list, and then the in-progress list, and what is being reviewed. Currently, the PRs that are being reviewed, the PRs that are approved but have not yet been merged by the developer. This list is empty right now. Have not been merged by the developer into the repo, and these are the ones that are merged into the repo. So these are the completed tasks. So this is a nice, quick way to for anybody that wants to get a status on, like, well, when is this coming in, or what's the status of this? You can easily look at that over there. So I think that covers this part. So just to remind people again, the 0.11.0 alpha version, which is the one that's going to be shortly coming out in, let's say, in the next couple of days, that is based on synchrony constraint 0.99 because it was easier for us to debug that way. And it uncomplicates a lot of the things that need to be done just to make sure that the algorithm is working and be able to validate that the results are correct manually and otherwise. So that's what 0.11.0 alpha is. Now, NetZipper has started looking into the next version of block merge, which would be the running at synchrony constraint 0.67. And that might entail, as we, basically as we go from a single parent to multi-parent, then we'll have to look at if Casper is behaving the way it is supposed to, or if it's causing any issues. And of course, block merge itself, whether it's behaving properly in that context. We anticipate that block merge should, but then maybe we'll discover things either individually or in the interaction among the different parts of the code base as the network proceeds. So all of that is something that is beginning to be looked at. So that will be the next version, next big version of block merge. The reason I say that'll be the next big version of block merge is because there may be some improvements. Tomislav is beginning to, as he did the code reviews on the current block merge 0.11.0 alpha, he has identified some opportunities for improvement that are like quick hits. So he's trying to prioritize and resolve those, as well as also keep track of what needs to be done for the next version of block merge. So depending on how significant those optimizations and small improvements are, we might do another version, or I guess that could be just the 0.11.0 non-alpha version when we get on that. And then when we do the 0.67, it'll be 0.11x, depending on how many versions we put out before that. So that's, I hope that is not too confusing and clarifies to people what to expect in terms of block merge releases in the near future. So meaning over the next several weeks. That's what is going on with that. There's a link there if you want to look at the milestone, as well as that project link that I just showed you. That'll give you an idea of what's going on and what is going to be included in what is included in the milestone and what needs to be completed for the milestone to be complete. Will has been working on a couple of things. He has completed the code to get the balances in preparation for the hard fork. And also he's been working in the last few days on helping. There is a new exchange that has come on board in the last week. So he's been helping them with that, and Gurinder and he have been helping them with that, as well as he's creating processes and documentation so that as new exchanges come on board, they know what to expect, and how the different servers work, the observer nodes, the transaction server, the validator nodes themselves, and what is their responsibility, what is our responsibility. So we're trying to put some structured process for that, as well as communication processes if they have issues or if we need to restart the nodes or something like that. So all of that, the process is just begun, but we'll be improving that as we go along. That's what is going on with the development team. And Tomislav is also beginning to look at the memory leak issue that I talked about on the mainnet that is causing us to restart the nodes once a week or something like that at this point in time. The degradation is not severe, but it is still you can see it on the graph. That's the reason why we're starting every week. But hopefully, we'll be able to get to the bottom of that and take care of that over the next several weeks. So that's where we are with the development. I think much of the rest of this is, I just left it in there as a reference for people that are interested in Rolling 1.1 and things like that, but there's not anything new in those areas. That I think is the core of my update. Does anybody have any questions on anything that I said?
I should just clarify that with respect to exchanges, it's not like the co-op was courting this exchange or the co-op has gone through any sort of application process or spent any listing fees or anything like that. This exchange wanted to list the rev. And it's in our best interest to make sure that for all exchanges that do want to list the rev, that we support them technically. Does that make sense to folks?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that just the community is dealing with, I believe.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
The community organized or worked with the exchange, and the exchange, decided to list the rev, but the co-op did not pursue this. But from our point of view, anyone who's using the technology, we want to make sure that they have a good technical experience. Very good. Any other questions for Raul? I understand that Raphael might show off a new website look. Is that correct?
Yes, I'll do it very quickly. It's just some. So let's share the screen. Okay. Okay. So no, it's minor updates to the website. So the first one is the technical roadmap that is now below this row revolution section. So you have past checkpoints and then future future checkpoints, starting with block merge and other progressions as well. So feel free to read it. Feel free to ask anything about the points. And then we have this new research page that already existed before today, but now it is linked in the nav. And that's it. So this page is great because it's there was a hackathon page, so it's kind of the same page, but with also this great table here and a form. So that's it for the update. So mainly it's the timeline, some small updates to the ecosystem page, and this link to the research page.
Looks very nice.
Yeah, it looks great. I really appreciate the work there. Fantastic. We continued to get a lot of good engagement on the COVID passport. We will give more details in the closed door session, but it's very good to see. We're starting to see engagement overall on the platform. Just this morning, there was another company that is very interested in doing some kind of IP asset play on top of RChain. We met with their CEO and kind of walked them through what RChain is all about and how we can support their effort. And they were, well, they wanted a follow-up meeting. So you're making some progress if the CEO wants to have a follow-up meeting in a couple of days. So that's very good news. I think we're starting to see more and more engagement on the platform, which is most excellent. Any questions about that or the changes to the website?
I just want to say, Raphael, it's really great to have a timeline right on our front page. I think that's a really great feature, and it just looks good. I mean, even me who's deeply involved in the project, it's nice to see this kind of laid out in that kind of way. It's even, you know, clarifying and helpful for me. So yeah, so thanks for that.
Indeed, indeed.
Yes, and I think it's great also because often people forget the past achievements and focused on what's planned for the future, but there are already lots of key features, so they deserve to be on the front page, like last final state, for example.
So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the work that's been done to date is astonishing. It is nothing short of miraculous. I continue to be in awe of our dev team. But moving on, Daryl, do you want to present the week in review?
Yes, I do. Fiber.
She wants to hear about it. She's very anxious to hear the week in review.
Yeah, she's excited. All right, so hopefully I'll live up to her expectations here. So here's the week in review for last Thursday, February 25th to today, Wednesday, March 3rd. Last Thursday at the governance committee, we discussed proposing the ROC contracts to be unlocked at hard fork and discussed RChain tokens and non-fungible token interfaces. Also on Wednesday at the DApp Developer Working Group, they assigned Rev rewards for work study participants working on ideathic, what? Jim, help me out here. What's that word?
It should be Ideathon.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Ideathon apps solved build issues with React version of Liquid Democracy testing interface. On Friday at the Climate Coordination Call, we discussed climate crisis adaptation, the slowing of Earth's ocean circulation currents, and Jim Weitzcover presented some best coordination practices for RChain. And I also led a presentation about Facebook and its recent tensions with Australia, and Shoshana Zuboff's statement that you can have surveillance capitalism and you can have democracy, but you can't have both. On Saturday, the DEP developer call, they looked at Make Mint token creation and JavaScript to Rolang translation. On Monday at the Casper stand-up, they covered the translation of the exponential fragment of the Parsimonious Lambda calculus. This completes to translation of the whole Parsimonious Lambda into row calculus. I made that sound like I actually knew what I was talking about. On Tuesday at the RChain education call, they worked on WANA decentralized mutual support DApp design. Also on Tuesday at the communications working group, we discussed updating the white paper, gathered consensus on whether to split it up into more of a 2 or 3 document approach where there'd be a yellow paper, a white paper, and a beige paper. We also discussed getting the major crypto portfolio trackers updated. And Raphael went through the website updating that he's been doing. And Steve Henley proposed how to implement the COVID passport work on the website. And Raphael proposed a method for creating multi-language versions of the website. At 11 yesterday at the DApp Developer Working Group, sorry, that's 11 Pacific time, AM. They added missing files to React version of Liquid Democracy testing interface. And this morning at the active member hangout, they discussed e-rights, non-fungible tokens, and crowdfunding. Jim gave an update on the work being done with Liquid Democracy and RDev. Jim also brought up privacycoop.com, which states, if you aren't paying for the product, you are the product on their website. He also brought up polypoly.org, which is a co-op set up to enforce GDPR. And that brings us to now.
Thank you, Daryl. Any questions for Daryl? A lot of good stuff going on there. I just want to say, with respect to the Parsimonious Lambda calculus, I've now presented the enough of the translation of Parsimonious Lambda into Rho that anyone skilled in the art can see that how the translation goes. So that part is done. I just want to remind everyone why we're doing this. So there are multiple reasons, but one of the most important reasons is that it allows us to import the zk-SNARK stuff directly into Rho. So that's a real thing, right? We want to be able to have all of the zero knowledge features that allow for, you know, hidden transactions and a wide variety of those kinds of applications. So we are we're in the process of building out a correct by construction means to have the zero knowledge features available in Rho. And we're doing it in public, so you can see how it's done and understand the correct by construction methodology. So I think this, you know, this is in part what RChain is all about, is, you know, good technology done correctly, and you get to see the process right in front of your eyes. You're watching the cake being made, and the cake is correct because, you know, we can prove each of the different steps or stages in the recipe, and the result amongst many will be that we get to have zero knowledge features such as the SNARKs in RChain. But it also means potentially speed ups in terms of execution, because we can do verification of circuits as opposed to doing replay. And with luck, there's a wide range of Rho-lang contracts for which that's faster than replaying the contract. Any questions about that?
So about zero knowledge proofs. So yeah, in the chat this week, some I don't know, I can't remember who it was, but someone says that zero knowledge proof are very resource they consume lots of processing. Is it true, or is it sometimes true, sometimes false?
Sometimes true. It depends on the complexity of the circuits that are involved. So the SNARK stuff can be faster. One of the beautiful things about going this route is that we will have a handle directly on where the resources are spent. So we'll see that in the Rho-lang. We'll know, okay, this is gonna cause an exponential blow up in the generation of names or the number of steps. So we'll actually be able to see that whenever we do these kinds of encodings, and thereby, you know, make some judgment calls as to, you know, what's going to be practical, what needs to be optimized, and what's simply out of reach. Does that answer your question?
Yep. Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks.
No, thank you. Also on the technical side, sorry to be so heavy on this. I just want to mention we had a great jam session with this hardware vendor I've mentioned that we're talking to. So we've sketched out the architecture for a simple little machine that is a kind of a warm up to being able to do Rho on top of their special purpose chip. So we'll see how that goes. We'll do a quick pair programming session just to get it running, and then from there we have a kind of template or sort of sample app that will allow us to modify it to get something that's a little closer to Rho running directly on their hardware. But anyway, yeah. So and that's after 2 meetings. So we had 2 meetings and got to the point where we now have a design for an SKI machine running on top of their device, and there's a clear path from that implementation to something that is much more Rho-like. So very excited to see that. Again, all of these hardware forays and investigations are just feasibility studies. They're, you know, we're not looking at them in terms of taking up any resources from the co-op or anything like that. It's just, you know, checking to see, does this idea fly? Does this path to hardware acceleration make good sense? Any questions about that? All right. Please check Discord. There will be an important announcement for members, very important announcement for members. So if anyone who has been watching the Rev Price, many people have contacted me. I just want you to know that there will be an important announcement in the members channel, and we can talk more about that on Friday in the closed door session. Let's see, is there anything else from the board or otherwise? We had our official board meeting yesterday. There were 2 resolutions passed. One is relating to the announcement that will be in the members channel. I'm trying to think, what was the other one? Daryl, Rao, help me out. Ian?
There was a minutes approval, and then I think there was some discussion about a third-party contract from China.
Oh yes, that's correct. That's right. Yeah. So that's all good. Yeah. We're just formalizing the ongoing relationship with the China team. So the board is very much in support of that. And I think that's it. I think that's all I got. Any other questions, comments, concerns from the community? Going once. Twice. Thanks to all. Please stay safe and see you on the other side.